Thank you. Ooh, that's hot. Bring that down, folks. Sorry about that. Hello, testing. Yeah. Welcome back to another Ambient Bass Effects mornings. Just hanging out. And thank you for the gift. Feel free to super chat, leave a gift. 757 land, thank you. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all hitting that hype button, hitting them likes, hitting the reactions for me. Thank you. Let's go on. This big orange pedal is a vocoder pedal. Oh, nah, that's electro harmonics. And this big gold one is the Enzo X. So thank you guys. Those of you, oh, I got all this reverb on here. Get that out of here. Don't need that. So, of course, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me as usual. If you haven't already, hit that like button. So this is Ambient Bass Effects Mornings. And good morning to all of you that have chimed in and, said hello. Feel free. Hold up, let me get untangled here. Uh-oh. Not in the chair. I hate this. Sorry about that, guys. It happens when you got a rolling chair and wires around you. So, but again, thank you guys, of course, for hanging out with me, chiming in. If you haven't, subscribed already, I definitely would greatly appreciate it. So, if you're not familiar with this series, this is where I do everything that's ambient, and just kind of mess around with bass effects. And feel free to ask questions, So I'm going to do a little bit of explaining there how I got to some of those different sounds. Of course, we started out. So let's go back a little bit with these are just loops on my, I don't know if you guys can see that on camera or not, but I have a Digitech Jamman Solo HD down here. Tremendous sound quality, by the way. So that sound there is actually the C4 synth. So that sound there is, all these sounds are available on the Patreon, by the way. Shout out to all the Patreon folks. Thank you guys. I definitely appreciate your support and buying the preset packs, signing up for the subscription every month, and just supporting the channel. And trust and believe, we got more to come for y'all. So, and we now have memberships for this channel on YouTube as well. So check that out. We're going to start having members-only stuff like this, where I bring in full bands and bring in other musicians and all types of stuff. So stay tuned. All right. So that's the C4 synth. This next sound came from the Enzo X. And again, all these sounds are on the Patreon. If you have these pedals, you can easily get access to these sounds. It's not even difficult now. So that sound is the Enzo X, the other sound. That pad up top. Yep. And then we have the drum sounds. It's just my bass running into delay and reverb. Well, for the last loop, that bass is the Future Impact. So, I try to not just, create a bunch of sounds, but you want to eventually, have the sounds you need to inspire you to just play different things, write different things. It's not always, and everything's not always about reinventing the wheel. Like that last little jam was just a little basic thing, that easily could be played by anybody. But, it's just sometimes that's what you're feeling at the moment. Sometimes you're not feeling all Mr. 15 million chord changes. You know what I'm saying? So, sometimes you just like one or two. One or two's good. You know what I'm saying? Depending on the situation. But, yeah. Y'all let me know if y'all got, and thank you. I definitely appreciate all the comments and stuff on the different platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Let's dive into some more stuff. Oh, I got to break down the second track. Okay. Second track. That's the Hog 2 running into the MS-60 Plus using the filters on there. And the HX1. That's the Future Impact. bass synth there. So, and then the rest is just my bass guitar sound. So, creating live loops isn't really that hard. It's just there's a few things you have to keep in mind, you know what I'm saying? Because I did those on the live previously. I actually did those live on here on another episode of Ambient Bass Effects Mornings. But it's one thing you got to keep in mind is the levels. First thing, you know what I'm saying? So remember that whatever track that you're laying down first, you still got to leave room for all the other tracks, and then like pick your hierarchy, which you want. You want the drums and the bass sound to be a little louder than everything else when you're looping. So a lot of times I'll lay down my loops and guitar parts first. Excuse me. First when I'm looping, and then I'll just and I'll have those lower. So I always bring them down before I lay down the loop. That way they don't just overpower the rest of the loop. That's why even though it's not mixed, you know what I'm saying? Like that's not mixed, but you can reasonably hear everything, So when I was laying this part, I had to keep in mind everything else I wanted to do. So as I was building it, even when I added that pad, I had to make sure that these weren't too in the way of the track, right? So you go from that to you put that drums and bass on top of everything. So that gives a decent, I guess, a decent representation of your idea. And you also got to keep in mind it'll clip if you go too far. Now I got a lot of headroom with this gear and stuff, but you don't want it to go. You don't. One, you want to keep your tracks around the same volume overall. That's something that takes a little bit of practice. But luckily you got a volume knob there. But besides that, you want to try to keep that thing so it's not just a bunch of cram tracks, like, for max volume. So definitely keep in mind the part that you're doing and where you want to hear it in the track and everything else. So, all right, let's try some different stuff. Oh, we did some vocoder in there. Somebody asked about the vocoder, so I had to do it. I haven't even used this vocoder in a while. I use every album or time I do albums recordings, I always use it. Like, even though I don't use it a lot on video, that vocoder is on like 3 or 4 of my tracks that are on. If you just go to allbasscreations.bandcamp, you'll find all my music there. So that guitar amp is actually coming from the MS-60B. And I do have another ToneX one coming, so I am going to switch this joint out for the ToneX, another ToneX. So basically, I'm gonna have my guitar amps and stuff all in my ToneX, and then one ToneX, and then the bass amps in the other. Less guitar. Let's go Spotlight. I love having this MIDI controller down here, by the way. It definitely makes my life way easier. See the usual suspects starting to come in. And yes, thank you for Big Sunno for getting that preset pack. I saw that. Thank you very much. Hopefully it's doing you right. It's got some synth bass, some regular bass cabinet, but it's got a little bit of everything in there for you. So hopefully that inspires you to create some sounds. Part of the preset packs is not just getting my sounds, it's also understanding how I put effects chains and different things together. So overall, you know, you can learn from it and just grow. That's the purpose of this all, is that we grow. One of the always, well, some of y'all that's new don't know, one of my biggest goals before, you know, in my life is to create as many killer musicians as possible. That's why I teach. I'm teaching this evening, as a matter of fact, with fame, the Foundation for the Advancement of Music Education. Check us out and send us some students if you got some. So yeah, definitely appreciate you guys hanging with me. Just running through some tunes, running through stuff I haven't ran through in a while, taking some chances, taking some chances out here. But if you haven't already, of course, hit that like button. But I definitely appreciate you all hanging out with me. Let me know if y'all have any questions about the effects and things I'm using, things like that. Appreciate all the feedback, all the love. Thank y'all. So right there actually was only using. That's why I was like, why does it sound like it wasn't as tight as I wanted it to be? I forgot to turn the Empress compressor back on. In terms of the sound, like it makes, even though it's subtle, it makes a difference. Like I can hear when it's not on. See, like even now, just tapping, like it feels different. Then see that? It's just slightly. It's a little. It is a little bit of a volume boost, but it's just it makes the sound tighter. So, part of tapping. Thank you. I appreciate that. Appreciate you chiming in over on Facebook. So, one of the main things with the tapping stuff that I'm not doing like what I guess not necessarily traditional tapping. So I'm not doing like I'm literally tapping each individual. So when I'm playing, say, a major scale, same thing with my left hand. Chords as well. Even with the stride technique, you know. All of that is, tapping, like literally just tapping each individual note. So basically, your fingers become like the hammers on a piano type thing. So. So, yeah, so besides that, ToneX 1 running, that was the color box plus the Ampeg SGT tone models that'll be available to you guys real soon on the Patreon, and MS-70 CDR plus into HX1 for the reverb. So. As you can hear, even though I'm running all these digital pedals, like the latency is not even there. I'll check. Is that a pedal? Or is that I think that's a group. Is that a group that you asking about there? And the real cool thing about having like a lot of the digital setup these days, man. I was just talking to another bassist last night when I was, working at church. Wow. Is there a better? For me, ToneX has the best hand models. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll definitely check them out when I get a chance. And thank you. I definitely appreciate that. I try to do something that'll be useful to you guys, not just get on here and just be wasting your time. I'm trying to tell you, you know how that's $750 worth of tone right there that is just crammed into, because the color box is $450. The Aguilar AG preamp is $300, right? But with that joint, Then if you know, and that's even if you don't want to scoop like that, it's still gonna be fire. You want more of a mid forward sound. And I promise you that feels like I'm playing the color box and the Aguilar AG preamp together. I promise you that's exactly what it sounds like. It's what it feels like, everything. And it's, I tried to voice it where you could literally just EQ your bass. So I think I turned this up last night. That's why I was like, why is that joint so loud? It's so firm. It's just that may be my favorite tone model right now. Like I was, every time I tried to switch off it when I was playing yesterday, I just couldn't even turn it off. Like I come right back to it because it's like it's the best of both of those units, right? They already sound like kind of similar, but you're getting all that nice 1073 saturation from the color box V2, and then you getting all that like Aguilar firmness. Like Aguilar has a firmness to their sound, like in that low mid range, like that really like supports during the music, And it's like you can always hear every note. And I got that super scoop, you know what I'm saying? So I can, right? So, but if I just put that back flat. So it's a very nice firm bass sound, and I know I keep saying that, but I'll show you the difference. This is the Aguilar. This is the part of the ToneX signature bass collection, right? So if you get a ToneX, make sure you get the signature bass collection, and make sure you tell them the Bass Negus sent you. But you get that essentially, and it's going to give you access to sounds like this that sound good. You know what I'm saying? This is their Aguilar DB750. Granted, something like this, I would have to EQ my bass a lot more, just to get to the sound I would like. Which does sound good. But then you put on with that color box and that AG. That's with the same EQ. It just got more firmness. So, that's why I do my own packs. Oh, yeah, I always need more pedals. Feel free to leave some super chat, Cash App, all that good stuff, folks. But even with the Aguilar, this is the color box running into the Ampeg SGT. So I just like it's like, this is the signature series one. I really do like these amps too. But when you grab my preset packs, it just level you up. That's why I said get the signature bass pack. It's gonna come with all those amps. Then you come grab my preset packs and bam, you in there. Trying to tell you, let me turn my bass flat. This the crazy part. I think people really sleep on the ToneX, like, because it's little. Like, you'll easily overlook it. It sounds fantastic, and the sound quality is just as good as anything else on the market. Like, to me, they allow you to make the best, I guess, captures or copies of your preamps. Theirs is called tone models. But let me see. Let's do this. We're going to turn that there, we're going to make this. Yeah, we're actually going to make this another Ampeg. So, right, I used to have a Ampeg BA, you know what I'm saying? That's my bass without the ToneX on. I'm going now with that same color box running into the Aguilar preamp. Right? My bass. Which already, has a good sound to it. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm about to have two of them. Like I said, it's actually, I got IK Multimedia is in the process of sending me an actual unit to review as well. So stay tuned for that. But this is not sponsored by them. I'm not endorsed by them, or I don't feel a need to just say they're great if they're not great. I bought this ToneX. Like, my first time talking to them was probably about a couple weeks ago when I did the signature bass series. They sent me that. when they released that, you know, which I definitely appreciate. But yeah, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know I've been using ToneX 1 since it came out. You know what I'm saying? And just been thoroughly impressed. Like I took it, I went to church yesterday, played at church. All I used was the ToneX and the Canvas line isolator. That literally was my whole rig. You know what I'm saying? So you got my bass. Right. My Ampeg BA V2 capture. This is a tone model rather. This is that color box into SGT. So you can hear how much it just adds to your sound without like doing too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like those combination of effects and like those two preamps running into each other gives you a different like firmness to the sound. I know the color box has its own firmness to it. That's what I've always liked about it, fingerstyle. But with that SGT on top, it turns it into like this Aguilar Ampeg sound mixture. You know, so if you've been on the fence about a ToneX, you know, the signature bass collection is going to come with a ton of software, like 4 pieces of software, the SVX1 and XVX2 for amplitude. If you've followed my channel, you know I got videos on amplitude as well. You know what I'm saying? I've been using amplitude before I ever used the ToneX. You know, I've been using amplitude since like what is this, 4? Amplitude 3 or 4, one of those I used to have. I think it was 3. I had amplitude 3 and I used that for years. You know what I'm saying? But these new software pieces, plugins too, they crazy. It comes with plugins. $179. It gets you all these unlimited amp models, tone models, and rig models. It can copy any distortion pedal and just keep that tone for you. Then on top of that, of all of that, you still got access to the ToneNet, which is a community on there. And you got creators like myself who have their personal presets. So if you like the way that sounds, you're going to be able to buy that and get that exact sound. And so it's like unlimited amp models compared to when you're using like a normal multi-effects unit, like a Zoom multi-stomp. It just has the amp models that are in there. So that's a little different versus a ToneX. You know, you can get you a ToneX and an MS-70 CDR Plus and go crazy. Like, I'm talking about ambient style go crazy. Like, you got modulations and delay and reverb in the ToneX as well with compressors, and you got all that stuff with the exception of amp models and distortion in the MS-70 CDR plus filters. Like, they complement each other actually very well. If you wanted like a little smaller unit you could just run around with, that would definitely be it. So, but enough of that. Let's go on to something else. Let's see what this layers feel like today. And again, feel free to ask any questions. Definitely hit that like button. And thank you for everybody that's subscribed and hit the like button already. Means a lot to me. Thank you. Yeah, I can do something with that. Let's go. So just kind of mess around with the combination of things there. Of course, the hog 2, the key 9, the male 9, into the Empress compressor, ToneX 1, running the color box tone model into MS-70 CDR Plus, and then HX1. So a lot of times, guys, it's just some of it is experimentation, some of it is just experience with effects. Like when how I can just get to a sound is experience. You know, I've gotten to these sounds before, or similar things. So, you know, it takes a lot of time learning each individual pedal. Not, you know, I would never recommend that if you are brand new to effects that you just start buying pedals. You're going to confuse yourself. You ain't going to confuse nobody else, but you're going to confuse yourself. I always suggest starting with a multi-effects pedal of some sort. You know, I started out with something like a Zoom B3, and that was just 3 effects at a time. And I had to kind of get creative with putting together 3 effects at a time versus, you know, if I had to start out with all of this, I would absolutely be confused. You know, this is a combination of buying most of this over like a 10-year span of time. So I've spent quite a bit of time with each individual pedal and each individual type of effect where I can really learn how to manipulate it. Like I can instantly hear when there's like a detune type of chorus versus a LFO type of chorus on the sound, you know, things like that. I don't have to come from like digging into the types of choruses, digging in and through a multi-effects unit, right? The Zoom B3 was $200 when it came out. It's audio interface, all this other stuff. You know, it's a little outdated now. You know, the Zoom B6 is a much better option for you these days. But it's going to, when you have it all in something like that, it helps you learn signal path, effects order. You know, you start to pay attention a little bit more. For the most part, effects wise, just to help save you guys some time, the majority of your effects order is going to be, you know, your bass going into probably a compressor or not. Then your octave units and synth units. That's why I have things like the OC5 Future Impact C4 synth and the Deep Freeze, like all on this second loop here. Let me switch over here. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. If you hold up, I might have got some good news here. Hold on. Oh, I thought we had the pedal coming in. Oh man, cool. Whatever. But so where was I? Oh, okay. Synth effects. So compressor, maybe a EQ of some sort. I already got EQ on my bass. Into your octave synth effects. That's my second loop here. So then into, if you want to, the reason I have my preamp right there is because I don't have I'm using the ToneX 1, right? And I want to, when I get to the Enzo X, I want to run stereo. I want to run the Enzo X closer to the beginning of my chain. That's why typically I turn everything off before I even run. I turn everything off when I'm using the Enzo X and pretty much just use the Enzo X the majority of the time. But I have it right, the ToneX right here. Hold on, let me switch my pedal board view so you guys can see it a little better. So let me scoot over here. So basically, this ToneX is all my preamps and stuff. So all that's after the synth effects, and then I'm going into the Enzo X. Enzo X is now stereo. Is going out of his stereo. So it's going in from the ToneX 1 mono, but then from here, everything is stereo. So all these are stereo imaging, modulation effects, you know, all the reverb, delays, all that stuff is right here. And then I top it off with a nice compressor limiter option there with the Atlas compressor. So, you know, at the end of my chain is a limiter. At the beginning is usually a compressor. And, you know, right after the compressor, I'm usually having the octave effects. The reason I don't have to have a lot of modulation and distortions and all that here is because technically all these units, well, with the exception of the OC5, these two have their own distortion in them, you know, that I can use. They have their own filters, and I can use those filters and distortion for stuff that I would like to use them for as well on the OC5. You know, so that gives me, with these two right here, I have all the filter options I need, but I also got filter options Enzo X and MS-70 CDR Plus, as well as the HX1, but I don't particularly like these. I like these. So, just, how you not gonna like that? That's that Enzo X. Just amazing. So it's definitely been it's a matter of having things in a decent order, and that allows you. I don't really. Of course, I have a bunch of multi effects units over here, so I can shift around effects from different units if I need to try out a bunch of different filters. I got a ton of different filters on here. So, like, you're talking about 40, 50 filters on this one side of the board. You know, I got my analog options over here on the floor, off to the side, but I'm not even using those unless I'm recording. For just stuff like this, I'm just, or just my normal gigs. This is my normal gigging board for those of you that didn't know. You know, I haven't explained that to everybody. And so, you know, a lot of my stuff on this board is set up for easy access, and, you know, making sure that nothing gets, you know, when I'm live, and I'm just playing bass stuff, it's no issues. Plus the Enzo X is also has bass synths, you know, all this. So I got bass synths all over this joint. You know what I'm saying? That's the cool thing about having, you know, I know a lot of times we get caught up. Oh yeah, this is for sure. Oh, I don't know if I ever. So, um, well, unfortunately, no, I cannot do that. I will not be. If your headphones are messed up, you're gonna have to get some new headphones. I don't know. I'm not. I'm not typing. Not about how you gonna come on a music channel and then want them to type. We do music. We do audio over here. What we talking about? That's kind of crazy. Some requests. I think some people just type stuff just to see if I answer it. But yeah, definitely. If you on the vertical chat or the vertical live stream and you want an even better view of the pedal board, there's I stream vertical portrait and a horizontal. You know what I'm saying? So there's always if you're on YouTube, there's always a horizontal version and a vertical version of my stream running at the simultaneously on YouTube. So, for instance, let me see, I'm monitoring it on here. So this is the vertical stream on here, and then on my iPad right here, I'm monitoring the horizontal screen. So look how much bigger the horizontal pedal board is on there. So you make sure you check out this stream too. Either one is good. But that's the difficult part about streaming sometimes. It's so many different ways of getting this stuff done. But yeah. So let's see what we got here. Well, yeah, the Boss, the MXR. So if you got an MXR bass compressor and a Boss LMB3, what's that? I gotta look that up. Mm, okay, yeah. So that probably will be better. Throw the limiter at the end, you know what I'm saying, of your chain, and the compressor at the beginning, and just do light compression. I don't. My compressor over here is my Empress is the first thing in this chain. Of course, it's when we're not counting this right now. This is more for my studio stuff than or this stream and things like that. But this is my main gigging board. This half, it's two separate boards. But I'm only doing a 2-to-1 ratio on this Empress with a long attack and a short release. You know what I'm saying? And that gives me that nice punchy, that nice almost. It's going to be giving you compression, but not like super noticeable. Right, without it. Well, I might need to turn off this mic. So, not super compressed there, right? Um, just a little bit of something to add some of that nice detail in there and back into your sound. And then, I usually run my ToneX in between there. And this is just the bass sound. Like if we're just talking about your actual bass guitar sound, you know what I'm saying? I'll run one of my preamps from there. Let's go with one we like a lot. And then with the compressor. Running that into there, and then a limiter at the end. And really, you know, that's actually an 1176 limiter doing a 10-to-1 ratio in parallel compression, meaning half of that signal is really compressed a lot, hard compressed, and the other half of the signal is just my raw, is just the sound coming out of the ToneX 1, which already has just a little bit of compression on it. And the preamp sounds from the color box and the Aguilar AG. Then running that signal also goes into a LA2A limiter. So from the 1176 limiter, I'm going into another tube limiter. And all this is in a Source Audio Atlas compressor. And I'm only running that at a 1-to-1, so no compression on it, 1-to-1 ratio. And, you know, completely wet. And I'm just using that for saturation, really. And I just got it, you know, the signal pushed into that tube emulated, you know, limiter there. So it gives you a nice warmer tone, but not too saturated, but it has a nice color to it. So what you end up is this nice warm, firm sound. You know, if I want to have a nice slapping pop, that ain't no problem. And you know, something like that. You switch preamps. Just switch preamps on it. And that's just the color box running into a Magellan, Gensler Magellan preamp. So that's the, you know, the combination with the Aguilar. So it's I just have these 3 amps right here ready to go. That's just the color box with the Ampeg SGT. So typically during a gig, I'm running, it's a 4-pedal chain altogether pretty much. You got the Empress compressor running into tone models on the ToneX 1, which is the color box, Gensler Magellan, color box, Aguilar AG, color box, Ampeg SGT, and then that running into the Atlas compressor with an 1176 running into an LA2A limiter. So, you know, that's my little tone secret there, I guess. You know, that would be that's all I need for a gig or any gig. You know, I haven't run across any bass gig where one of these 3 didn't work. And I mean in a bunch of different contexts. That's that SGT. And all of these ones have that same firmness from the color box. That's what I'm trying to say. Like the color box gets slept on because it's not like a fancy pedal. It's like a sometimes it can even be hard to hear what it's doing. Like, and sometimes it's almost like, what is it doing? Is it doing anything, or is it just this placebo effect or something? You trust and believe it's adding some nice saturation in it. And one thing I always get from people that's listening to it is the sound sounds a little bit more. They usually say something like firm, or like it has a little bit more body, something like that. So. And it just adds the preamp coloring. I think I got this compressor on. No, this is just with my bass. My bass is pretty much the bass on my bass is flat. Everything else is flat as well. And as they just all have just a slightly different tonality to them. But I think that's a lot of times when we're playing, we're thinking we need to have a ton of sounds. You don't need a ton of sounds, and you don't want to have super, like, hardcore different sounds. Just too different of a sound. Like, in terms of, I can take that, you know what I'm saying, and it's like I have them running a DI out of a rig. You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be what they can deal with, you know. And then I can run anything I want into that. I can run the distortions or filters or whatever else I want from there, bit crushers, you know, into that. And then after that, I have all the, you know, modulations, all the delay and reverb type stuff afterwards. You know what I'm saying? Just the way if I was running like all that stuff into the effects loop of an actual Aguilar AG bass head. So I kind of simulate what I would be doing without ever having to take that rig out the house. So all I got to do is take this pedal board, really just those 3 effects pedals, and it gives me a nice studio quality tight sound no matter where I am. So no matter where I go and I plug up into whatever system, I know my bass is going to be sound nice and tight. And then from there, I can just make adjustments from my actual bass. And you wouldn't believe the amount of time it saves me not having to come in and fiddle with a bunch of amp heads and stuff like that. If I can get this to sound like this, with my bass flat on my bass, so, you know, if you just bump it, I'm gonna bump the bass just a tad bit. Watch this. So here to play a note. So from there, you good money. That's why I love these particular pedals. Like that Empress gives you that nice warmer compression. I know it's a little pricier. It's like I think they're like $279 for the Empress compressors, but it sounds so good. I promise you, the Empress. You got it, and and I will say this: it doesn't do it justice over the internet. That's one of them pedals you get in your hand, you play it with your sound, with your bass, and you know it's going to elevate it. Versus, I mean, I think any good compressor can do that, but this one has a nice saturation to it. Along with the other two, it's just all warm in there. Just warm and fuzzy. That don't even sound like it went digital. That sounds like that whole signal path is analog, but maybe that's just me being a little biased. But y'all let me know if that actually sounds like an analog signal path to you. Tell me that's not giving you that Aguilar sound on top of that color box sound. That's the thing that's super impressing me about just the digital stuff that's out now. It is so good. You really don't have to buy all that stuff. Like I had to buy the color box and the Aguilar. Now you just need a ToneX and buy preset packs from somebody whose tone you like. And that gives you instant access to thousands of dollars worth of gear. Like even when you buy the pedal, they're giving you a bunch of bass amps that cost you thousands of dollars off the break. They're giving you an Aguilar DB750 tone model. They're giving you an Ampeg. I think they got the SVT on there. They got like 3 different Ampeg amps, 3 different Galley and Kruger amps. They got the orange tube amp in that joint. They got the Trace Elliott AH, what is it, AH250 or something like that. Yeah, they give you a good assortment of amps. And if those will get you started in the game right there. You know what I'm saying? Then you come rock with me. Grab some of my preset packs of the sounds you like that Aguilar right there. I can't, every time I just scrolling through stuff, I just get stuck on the Aguilar one. What's the color box into the Aguilar? It's like it's like I could really EQ my bass like hard with this sound. Like I just boosted my upper mids. Well, I give you a big scoop, but somehow like it's like the right frequencies are always. The sound is always identifiable. That's what it is. It's like because of that Aguilar. I love the Aguilar AG preamp, by the way. That amp is fire. The amp is fire, and it sounds really good. But the thing I love about this is I don't have to carry it. I don't have to carry the pedal. I don't have to carry the color box. I can keep those in the studio for, the recordings, and then for the recordings, use the real things. You know what I'm saying? And these aren't cheap. Like I said, that's like $750 for one sound. For one sound, just that one sound. But then you can have like that one sound $700. This one's $900. What's it? Yeah, it's about $900. I bought what I bought at? I bought it at $400, $450 for that Aguilar AG. I mean Aguilar SGT. So that plus the $450 for the color box. See what I'm saying? Like this thing literally will save you thousands of dollars, and you got enough comparisons on the internet between somebody like myself, right, who's done a ton of videos on ToneX. You know what I'm saying? Where you should be able to get the drift by now that it is accurate. Everybody's not gonna lie to you and just be like, hey, you would have heard somebody be like, yeah, this joint's crap by now. You've never heard that. Like I haven't heard anybody say they don't really like the ToneX that knew how to use it. But then, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I've been just taking that joint to the gig, bro. Just the ToneX. If I ain't got all the, if I'm not going to use all my synth sounds and stuff, I'm not fixing to unhook all my MIDI cables and stuff that I hook up when I'm coming to the house. Because when I come in the house, this board takes me 30 to 40 seconds to set up on the gig. When I come in the house, I got a few more extra plugs I plug in for the MIDI stuff so I can do these videos and just click, click, click. But, yeah, nobody want to do that all the time. The ToneX is... This that Magellan right there, too. So, yeah, moral of the story today is get you a ToneX One. Because guess what? It's going to save you a lot of work. It's going to save you a lot of money. And, you know what I'm saying, you actually will be getting something that'll last you and that you can, they upgrade. Like, they're on version 2 now, like with the modeling software, which allows you to do it faster. So, over time, find out what you need, but don't try to buy everything at once. You're just going to confuse yourself. Start out with something simple. Like if you want to be honest, the way I would start is either with a multi-effects unit, or if you're going to do individual pedals, get you a compressor, like a ToneX, and then like a limiter or something, or really you can just get really the ToneX has a compressor in it. Yes, ToneX. Let me show you how many preamps the ToneX has replaced. Let me switch over here. So you got all these replaced. This is the actual Aguilar AG preamp. So that's one. Gensler Magellan. I have the pedals. And guess what's still on the pedal board? Guess what I did? Put all these in there. Because guess what? It sounds exactly the same. Eden WT-DI. Ampeg SGT. Right? Because look at the size of this joint. Like, imagine, that is my biggest thing. It does sound amazing. But imagine me trying to carry this when I can just have this plus, here's the color box over here on the desk. So I can have this color box. Hold on, let me get my mic. So I can have this color box. Let me switch over to the pedal board view a little bit. See this a little better. Look at the size of these two together. Look how much space they would take up on my pedal board. Like this, they're about the same size. So all that taking up space on your pedal board there, that's way too much. You know, so that's 4 preamps right there. This is what, between these 5 right here, this 400, you got 450 for that color box, 300, AG, Gensler's 300, Eden was like 150. So with all of that, you know what I'm saying? Plus that Gens Ben Shuttle 9.0 and the little Mark III, by Mark Bass. It's literally replaced all of those. And only reason I couldn't sell, I had a Ampeg BA 210, right? I couldn't sell it because I could never get that tone out of any other Ampeg amps. As soon as I got a ToneX, copied it. Bam. Now I could take the tone everywhere. I don't have to just take a combo amp just to get that sound, right? And so all of these, imagine trying to carry all of these plus all those amp heads. It's I got a Harkey TX600 on there. I got the TC Electronic BH500 on there. That's head is like 30 pounds. So, I say all that to say that's how much it has replaced. And it was $179. And I also, not only did it replace those, I also, excuse me, I also have been able to just use it like the software as well. So say I wanted to record direct into my software, and say I don't want to just record straight using the preamps. I can record my bass direct, and I still have all those tone models in the plugin. So all my sounds that are in my pedal, I can have in a plugin on the computer as well for my recording software. That allows me not to have to, I guess, be married to any particular sound. You see what I'm saying? I can record my bass direct, and then from there, I just throw the plugin on, ToneX plugin or the Amplitude plugin. More than likely the Amplitude. More than likely Amplitude. I hate when that happens. Sorry about that, guys. Forgot to put the Do not disturb on. But yeah, you can once you got all these in one little tiny pedal. So I would recommend that's a good place to start with your pedal journey. No XLR out. Now for that, I recommend getting the Canvas line isolator. I use a Canvas stereo line isolator personally, but that or I think radio. What is that called? Somebody else makes a line. A couple people make line isolators now, but I use a Canvas one. That's what this is. Let me see. That's what this one is. There. And that just allows me to have really good sound and not have to push the gain and the master volume up so loud, introducing more noise into my signal. The only reason my signal's quiet like this is because part of the reason is I'm using that. And I'm also, another thing about the Source Audio Atlas compressor, it also has EQ in there. You can run 2 compressors, stereo, like, you know what I'm saying? Like 2 compressors in one compressor into another and have that separate, two separate stereo lines there. Then you'll have a noise gate as well in there and an EQ. So, yeah, you will need a XLR. If you use a DI box, the reason I say this too, this is, if I put it in DI mode, it's gonna drop the volume a lot. So now, just to get that to raise up, I now have to introduce more gain from the mixer. So now, I know it doesn't sound like it at the moment, but it's I have to use way more gain compared to line isolator mode. Do you hear? That's closer to the actual volume coming out of the ToneX, right? So now I can drop a ton of gain. And I got plenty of room to push, And it's clean. It's like the line isolator when it just makes it feel like an actual amp for me versus the DI box. The DI sound doesn't feel like that. Feels like an amp to me. Versus using it in DI mode, for some reason it just never gets me what I want, like the sound. So I make engineers deal with line level. I'm sure they love me for it, but I don't care. And then everybody else signal be extra low when they plug in. But yeah, so I definitely recommend a line isolator as well if you're going to get into ToneX. So that is an additional expense, but really you kind of want to have a good DI box on your pedal board anyway. And it's not going to be just a DI box, it's a line isolator. And so basically it's going to take the signal at the level it's coming out of your pedals and keep it there and send that versus ducking it down. And then they have to add a bunch of gain to compensate at the board. And it just makes it cleaner. It's like it makes the sound, and it's just the sound of your pedals in general. It makes them like cleaner, like it makes them feel like they have more everything. Like it's just like a better signal. It just feels like a better signal. I don't know what else to tell you. I'm not super technical when it comes to stuff like that, but I know when things sound good and they feel good. You know what I'm saying? So that's all I'm worried about with that. What is that? Is that the Aguilar? I knew it was that Aguilar. I was like, dang, what is that? It's like, and the Aguilar is so firm and clean. I'll have to do a comparison between. I'll have to try to remember my EQ settings for this stuff, but that's the other thing. That's another good point. I'm glad I remembered. You don't have to try to remember your EQ curves on like you do with the analog pedals. Like, so if I'm using like the different combinations, mind you, if I wanted to have just those 3 combinations of pedals, the color box running into an Aguilar AG and Ampeg SGT and a Gensler Magellan, that would take up the majority of this board, first off. Second of all, I would have to remember 3 different EQ settings because when you're using the analog pedals, when you close the case, it moves your knobs. So every time, like, that's why I only using one like analog pedal on this board for my tone stuff. You know what I'm saying? That lets you know how good the Empress compressor is. But I have to remember these settings. Like, I have to make sure that they are in the knobs are in the correct position before I start playing, because if I don't, I can start playing and not get no sound. You know, or if, say I'm just running in, setting up, doing a gig. You know, sometimes you don't get all that sound check. Like church, you don't do all that. You set up and you pretty much try to keep going as soon as possible. But without that, you know, I don't have to remember all of that. It's going to sound that way. Even if I cut that pedal off right now and turn it back on, all 3 of those sounds, all 20 of the sounds, because it stores 20 sounds at a time, you know, all 20 of them are going to be the way I left them. And I can also have the additional, if I'm just taking that versus taking the actual preamps, I can have a compressor, noise gate. I can add modulations like a chorus delay, chorus flanger. What else they got? Tremolo, and I think it's a phaser on there too. I know you get a delay, 2 types of delays, and you get a few types of reverbs in there. So that's and they all sound pretty good. They ain't, you know, it's not gonna be the end all be all of modulation, delay, and reverb. You know what I'm saying? But it will get you through without, you know, being a super problem. Especially if you have them all set up. So make sure you take some time and your main priorities when you're first starting to get your effects game together is getting your core tones together. You know what I'm saying? Like, so things you're going to be using for bass playing. That's like the first thing. You know what I'm saying? Amp models, compressor, limiter, EQ. You know, the amp models will have EQ in it, so you don't. Excuse me. I'm so sorry. I don't know why I'm just burping today, but I apologize to you all. Yeah, you don't. I would say I would start out with just the amp EQ and your bass EQ. Start there. Amp models and your bass, and then add the compressor. Don't overdo the compression and all that extra stuff. It should still sound natural. All right. So again, start small. Don't feel pressured to get 10,000 pedals. And at the store, they're going to tell you, they're going to sell you whatever you want to buy. So, you know what I'm saying? Keep that in mind. Like, you don't need 50 basses either. Get a nice bass. Learn how to bond with your instrument. You know what I'm saying? Spend the time with the instrument versus trying to spend the time with 50 other instruments. You know, just spend the time with a good bass. You know what I'm saying? You can have more than one bass, of course, but, you know, make sure you find one that you really can bond with and spend some time with so things don't keep changing every time you play, like string width and everything, height, all that extra stuff. Then get you some nice pedals, compressor. You know, really just one of the first pedals I wish I would have known about would have been the Empress compressor. You could start with just that, and it's going to get you, you can use the EQ on there, and it's going to give you like set EQ curves and a little bit of grit. It's a fire sound. Let me see. So without it, this is just my bass. Empress compressor with the EQ engaged. Sound like I just put on an amp model for real, for real. Tell me that's not a great bass tone right off the bat. You know, you ain't even have to do nothing. You know, it's Empress compressor can do a gig by itself. That can be the only pedal you really need to gig with, and it's gonna be all analog signal path. You know, just nice. Trust and believe. You don't have to have all this other stuff. It's definitely a luxury, you know. But you know, if you want something that's just gonna give you different flavors, you know, I start with a ToneX one. I think you'd be thoroughly surprised. Get the signature bass collection because it's going to come with all bass amps and stuff. But I think you'd be thoroughly surprised at how much you don't need when you have a ToneX one. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can copy all your distortion pedals. Say I had a whole, matter of fact, when you get the collection, it comes with a bunch of distortion pedals. It comes with a EHX, a couple different EHX distortions, I'm not about a full tone, a fuller tone, or what is it, fuller tone, or full tone, one of those things. It's called what else? Sans amp comes with one of those in it. Sans amp driver thing. So it's gonna come with a bunch of stuff. You just got to be willing to deep dive into it and not. It's nothing to be intimidated about. Really, it's right there. It's in the app, and it's right there in your face, clean, easy to understand. And if you don't understand it, just watch a bunch of my videos on it. And I mean, within one or two videos, I actually did a video on the how to use the ToneX software and stuff too. So, but yeah, start small and then work from there. I know this like the pot calling the kettle black. I mean, but I'm not starting. I've been doing this for a long time and playing since I was 4. You know, I've been doing music. So, and I'm 36 now. So it's 32 years in the game. That's not new. But yeah, check out that compressor aspect of things and check out the ToneX, and that's how you start it, and then from there get you, you know. Now my only reservations about giving you guys synth bass, like say then get you a synth bass and this and that. It depends on if you're going to use it or not. If you feel like you're going to use it, yes. If you feel like you're going to take the time to learn it, yes. But luckily, all of these have packs for them. You just download my packs, bam, throw them on the pedal. That's the only thing you got to learn how to do. Then from there, you just got to play. So, but Future Impact would be my next, I guess, recommendation for somebody just getting into, like if you're just getting into bass synth pedals. It's going to last you. It's going to sound good. You can play it with a keyboard too. So if you want to do synth bass stuff with the keyboard, it's already incorporated into your rig. No need to, fuss around with that. If you want to get into the ambient stuff, I recommend starting with like a MS-70 CDR Plus, and that's going to get you in there for $120. $120 put you in the game. You know what I'm saying? If you notice, I have a huge mixture of really inexpensive pedals, and none on my board is over $600. I don't believe in buying like $12,000 pedals and stuff. Listen, it ain't gonna play for me. What we talking about? It ain't gonna play for me. I gotta play it. So I just need it to sound good. And the most expensive pedal I have on here is the Enzo X. And that's an incredible pedal. It does way more than a regular effects pedal would do. And it does way, I would put that up against like the synth engines and like the motifs and stuff. Like the sound quality of the Enzo X, to me, sounds better than this motif. So there's that. But yeah, stuff like the Plethora X1, the MS-70 CDR Plus. I recommend MS-70 CDR Plus because it's 6 effects at a time. It's going to give you filters and the modulation. It's going to give you a wide variety of effects, no drives. I think it is a compressor in there and octavers. I think you do get some octavers in there too. So you get a little bit of everything, but no drives, no amp models. That's why I said once you get your bass rig running, you know what I'm saying, up and running, compressor, like a ToneX, something that covers your preamp side of the game, and you get you something like an MS-70 CDR Plus, round out your rig with some filters and everything else, and it's good quality, and you can split your signal. I mean, you can split, you can have a dry path and a wet path with the MS-70 CDR Plus. That would be a nice little rig. Empress compressor, ToneX, MS-70 CDR Plus, and then maybe something like that actually has a limiter, 1176 limiter on there, I believe. I think it's limit 76. And you throw that at the end of your chain. If it doesn't, I would recommend getting a Source Audio Atlas compressor anyway, setting that up. When you have these things like that, it's going to improve your rig. It's going to improve your workflow, your sound overall. Like, these are not things I'm recommending just so you can play around with. These are serious work tools here. These aren't toys. These are tools. So, even though the multi-stomps look like a switch controller, 2 switch controllers, they those are actually really serious pedals. I would recommend, if you don't want to spend a lot of money and you don't have no pedals and you don't even know what you're really doing with them, just get a MS-60B Plus. $120, 6 effects at a time. It's got literally every effect that, every type of effect that a bassist would need, period, including the delays, the reverbs, modulations, distortions, amp models, and, even got some synth in there. It's got the Z synth. That's really good in there. And then you just rock out, bro. You just rock out because it's nothing else you need from there. Yeah, that I mean, if you like that Boss one and it sounds good and you like the way it sounds, that works. I've never even tried that Boss limiter personally, so I can't say if it's good or bad. So that's completely your option there. But yeah, something like that. This multi stomp here is gonna definitely get you in the game, and I actually personally love this Blueberry Overdrive. So you can set this up a lot of different ways. And this has some really good preamps in here that people don't really talk about too much. Like the 1073 preamp in here is like really good. You got this. This is MXR joint. EI Plus. Dark Glass. B3K. This is one of Zoom's drive preamps right here. The clear driver. Joint's stupid. First off, let me turn off the ToneX. Let's see what we got here. A little bass. Cut that mids a little bit. Tell me that's not a good preamp. Tell me that's not a good preamp. Come on, y'all sleeping on this joint. And that's one of Zoom's originals right there. My favorite joint in here is the 1073 pre. And let me see, I want this there. A little bit off of there. Give me a little sparkle. Without it. With it. The same type of firmness you get from the JHS color box. Very similar sound. Let me see. I'm gonna try to match them up a little bit with the ToneX. Let me see something. Just do a quick comparison. So this is my ToneX version of my color box, right? Let me switch over to this pedal board view here. We're gonna take that off. And here's Zoom's 1073 pre. Make sure we get them ToneX. So yes, the ToneX does sound better. Let me bring that bass down. That's probably not So it doesn't sound bad at all. It just doesn't just doesn't sound as big as the ToneX, because the ToneX sounds exactly like the JHS color box. Like they've done an amazing job with the modeling software on there. It sounds exactly how this sounds. Only reason I'm not gonna do it right now because I'm talking through it. But that's how versatile. Just shout out to JHS. That's how versatile the color box is. You can run anything through it, and it's just gonna make it sound way better. But when we talking about for something that's $120, you can't tell me that don't sound good. Oh, it's starting to kick in. See, now we can bring the volume down on here. Matter of fact, I want to bring the gain down. Just trying to get them relatively the same volume. Now, I will say, in Zoom's defense, they're on the Zoom B6, this 1073 preamp sounds so much better and sounds so much bigger. It sounds closer to how the ToneX sounds, actually, in terms of the sound, like the width and the weight of the sound and the firmness, like, you know what I'm saying, versus this. And that's because the ToneX is running at 24-bit, 192 kilohertz, while the Zoom multi-stomp is running at 24-bit, 44.1 kilohertz. So there's a huge difference in the sampling rate quality there, and an amount of information that is using to process things as well. And compared to the Zoom B6, which is actually running at 24-bit 88.2 kilohertz, which is twice as much as the multi-stomp, but still not even half of the sample rate of the, you know what I'm saying? You see where we're going here. So the ToneX just has a unique, because of that high quality sample rate, it gets you that really great quality and gets you the exact sound that you're looking for and that you're trying to copy. Now with the Zoom B6, I mean that 1073 on there sounds great. Like it sounds way better than this one. But this one does not sound bad at all. For $120, you get you a color box pretty much. You get you a color box effect in there, or 1073 Neve preamp rather. It's not emulating a color box. They're all these things. The color box, all that is emulating a Neve 1073, which was a famous studio recording console. I wonder if I can get that to sound a little fatter. Oh, it's getting closer. So that's actually a lot closer. Yeah, so you can get a decent sound out of it too. You know what I'm saying? Don't sleep on the MS-60B plus. You know what I'm saying? I definitely recommend that if you are just getting in the game. It's going to give you. Look, did you just hear that? Did you just hear that? Come on now. Not only that, but you still have 5 other slots that you could put more effects in. Like you can add your compressor. So you can add your compressor in here. And this is why I said you don't have to spend a lot of money to get you up in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like you can start with something like this. You're going to get to try out everything that you need to try out and learn what it does anyway. It's going to save you a lot of money. So we're bringing this. And mind you, if you want, you can just download my pack, throw it on there. It's on the Patreon, along with all my other packs for any of these other pedals you see. 4-to-1 ratio, soft knee. So now I got some compression going on. Right? And, you know, they got this other one in here that's pretty cool, too. It's called what's it? So that was the 160 comp, which is from DBX 160 comp. But this Glam compressor, have it compress less. You can run parallel compression with it. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to shape it up. Bring this down. Let's take all the dry out. I want to see see how this shape sounds. Let's compress it a little less, a little more, a little less. So let's go heavy compression and bring in the dry. So you can do that, or you can, you know, I like that 160 compressor more, like I said. Maybe about 12. I might go -8 for real. I don't know why I like -8 for my threshold and stuff. So bam. Matter of fact, can I go down? Yes. I'm gonna go down even more. I'm gonna go down to a 2-to-1 ratio. Then I'm gonna go down to a -14 threshold. What's going on, folks? And thank you. I appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate the endorsement. You know, I appreciate when you guys support, you know, the Patreon. Thank you. Shout out to everybody on the Patreon. You know, shout out to you though for the positive review. Thank you. You know, it's better than Amazon when they show up on your, you know, they show up on your live and hey, I like you. You know, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh no, that Zoom looper didn't make the cut, unfortunately. You know, I actually use a Jamman Solo HD. That's this pedal right here. It's maybe out of view. But the Jamman Solo HD is amazing. Sounds really good. But yeah, so you got that there. Turn on that 1073. You ready to party now. With a nice clean bass sound too. Ain't nothing grimy about that. That thing sounds good. Then you can still add, so that's 2 effects, right? I'm just showing you the power of knowing how to actually use what you have instead of buying. Yeah, I mean, if the Zoom looper works for you, it works. For me, I have to be able to switch between loops, and even in the review I did of it, I even said that, you know, it is a good looper, and it sounds exceptionally good. Like, sounds amazing. Like, very clean, very clear. Only thing I had a problem with is I could not switch loops while it was playing. Like, you see how well, I don't know if you knew or not. Well, I know you're not new, Big Sunno, but well, you can't be new either because you asking me about stuff I'm doing. Okay, so I switch loops while they're playing. I don't stop and then play the next loop. Like, I have to be able to go from loop to loop to loop. And I really bought that looper in hopes that I would be replacing the previous Jamman I had, but I ended up just going back and getting the new Jamman because it's the only one that wouldn't stop when it going to the next loop and had the same amount of storage like that I need. The screen is cool, and the sound quality is really good on the Zoom looper. But if I was only doing stuff where I needed like one loop, plus it didn't have SD, I don't like that. Like, I need SD, but it did give you a lot of storage in there internally. All right, so let's get to the second effect. What else we gonna add? So we already got compressor, and we got the 1073 pre. Now, if we want to, Now we just gonna build a core bass sound here real quick. So now from here, if I wanted to do something else, it probably would be like this limiter, 1176 limiter on here. And we'll put this at like a, let's go 8-to-1 with a really short release. And by the way, 1073 preamp and 1176 limiter is like a classic recording combination there. So, you know, I personally love that. And, you know, one thing I might do, let me try this. I want to see some. If I add another 1073, right, I'm going to add another one, and I'm going to use this one just for saturation. I'm not going to EQ it all, just saturation. Oh, that doesn't sound bad at all. Yeah, that actually gets you, because I forgot the JHS color box is running 2 of those circuits. Let me see something now. Oh yeah, that sounds. That's definitely getting us closer in there. So let's do this. Yeah, I like that. And so that's actually 2 of the 1073 preamps on there. One's EQing, the first one's EQing, and then I'm running that into another 1073 preamp on here, essentially creating 2 of the circuits. And then I'm running that into an 1176, and I have a 160 compressor in the beginning. So we come to this limiter. We'll bring down the input because I don't want it to be hitting so hard. I still got room to experiment with stuff. Yeah, I know that it is a little frustrating that loop. I don't know why they did that like that. They could have did something better. Yeah, I can vouch for the Jam Man. You know what I'm saying, in terms of I like that tambourine sound too. I don't like the way a lot of the other ones incorporate their drum loops like that. I like everything for me with the Jam Man, um, like this. It just makes sense. Like the top tempo, the loops, ups and downs, the start, the stops. The sound quality is amazing. A good amount of headroom. What else? It really and it just some of the other features too, like the reverse and some of the effects that you can do, slowing the music down without changing the tempo. You know what I'm saying? Like if you want to change or speeding something up without changing the tempo, is also great. You know, it has a lot of features to it that I think get overlooked because it's just a looper pedal. But it's an amazing. It's been very good to me for the last 10 years. I actually have 3 of them. I have the Solo. That's the Solo HD. I got this the Solo XT, which was the model before, and this one I keep this one and I keep another one of the and then I got these too. Got one of these. And this is like a the Jam Man Ditto type situation. This Jam Man Express XT. So it's like a Ditto, like the TC Electronic Ditto. It just records, simple looper, records, stops, but they sync all together. So with that, I can have 3 different looper pedals synced up at one time. And what that is going to allow me to do is when I use them with a band, I'm going to give them to different people in my band so they can loop with me. You know, that's a lot of little fun. Yeah, you know, if you get a chance. Yeah, that Express comes in handy. Like I said, if I got, it doesn't store anything, but that's not the looper for me. The looper for me is this Jam Man Solo HD, and I keep these so my other band members can then join in. You know what I'm saying? And just but I don't need them to store it. You know, I need to store my loops. They don't have to store theirs. But yeah, so we got this great tone, even from tell me that don't give you a great tone from a $120 pedal. Come on, yo. And you can also do things like come over here and you can have that instead of using that 1073, the second one, just use the amp model. So essentially, like this is a Ampeg SVT. Let's set this up. We'll bring that gain down. If you want a cleaner signal from it, you want to keep that gain around 20. We'll take that cabinet off. I don't like these cabinets in here like that, to be honest. This is with the cabinet. I don't like that. Without the cabinet. That sounds like an Ampeg to me. So you don't have to compress it that much, but yeah, just experiment with it. Running the different preamps, DI boxes, the preamps into different amps and preamps and stuff. You can experiment with all that. And this, we ain't even talking about the modulations, the filters. We ain't even got. We just. That's what I was saying. This will save you a bunch of time just learning how to manipulate these things, because if you can learn how to manipulate something like this, the effects inside of it, everything else is very similar. It just will have more parameters. You know, if you can't get this amount of parameters, which at max they have what, 8 to 12 parameters max. Like that's the maximum. It's like 12 parameters on there. So most of the effects got 4. You know what I'm saying? 4 or 8 parameters. So it just simplifies each effect for you and to give you time to learn without breaking the bank. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I haven't tried the S drums. I'm not sure how that sounds, to be honest. Like I haven't played the S drums, but I know all these jam bands sync up perfectly. You know what I'm saying, for me. Um I don't really like drum machine sounds anyway, so that's one reason why I stay. I'd rather just make the sound. You know, I'd rather do my sounds like that, you know, and create, because I don't like them little, especially those snares. I don't like the those weird drum machine snares. You know, when I'm writing my music, personally. But if you haven't already, hit the like button for me. Appreciate all y'all hanging out with me. We've been hanging out for a while today, huh? But yeah, definitely check out the um, MS-60B Plus if you haven't, and you trying to get into effects. It'll be something that is right up your alley without confusing you. You know what I'm saying? If you start with something too big, like a big old unit, I don't know why people want to start with a big old Helix or something and you ain't never even used an effects pedal before. Like that don't make no sense. And then you wonder why I got the thing and I just never take it out the house. Of course you don't. You don't know how to use it. You wouldn't take nothing out the house I ain't know how to use either. You know what I'm saying? So check, get you something reasonable. Start there and then just expand. You can always sell it later. You know what I'm saying? Use it, you could buy these used. Get these used for probably about $70, the MS-60B Plus. So, yeah, don't hesitate on it if you're just trying to get your feet wet. Yeah, and a lot of times, guys, yeah, I'll check into that. I haven't even, different loopers and stuff got different little stuff. And on the MS, and even on the Jam Man, them drum sounds on there, I don't really use a lot of them. Only one I use is the tambourine. That's literally the only sound I use. The tambourine, a regular metronome when I want to practice or something. But I don't use all them drum sounds on there either. I might use the kick, the 4 on the floor kick sometimes, but I don't use all them. I just like to. It just, for me, drum machines are cool when you are first starting out, maybe because you don't have the drum sound in mind. You don't have the drum pattern in mind. Like like I always have a drum pattern in mind to go with the song. So some cookie cutter thing that ain't really exactly lining up with what I want is the reason why I usually typically don't use them. Yeah, definitely. I would go for the Jam Man Solo HD for real, and get you an SD card. And one of the things you can do is just take the SD card out, put it in your computer, and dump the card. Dump the card on a hard drive. Like so, I've dumped my card several times, and I keep all my spare loops on a hard drive. I don't keep them on the pedal because there's too many of them. So I just every once in a while I just go and dump them all. But yeah, I think that today the thing that I hope you guys got out of this is how to get into the game. I did a lot of playing in the beginning, but most of this what we've been talking about is just how to get in the game with effects in the first place. Like, how do you even get to this? You start with one. Start with one, and one that's useful, one that pretty much does everything you need. Just got tuner in it, everything. Everybody need a tuner, and it can be run off a double A. So start there, get all your tone stuff from there. From here, you can actually get you a nice looper, like we've been talking about, like a Jam Man Solo HD. Those are the ones I'm vouching for. You know what I'm saying? I don't have, like I said, I'm not endorsed by any of these companies, but that's what I use. And the sound quality, you can't argue with the sound quality. Let's see. That sound quality is crazy. And that's what I use most of the time. That tambourine sound right there is rhythm number 9. Great, clear. But yeah, the sound quality and just the flexibility of that looper is why I use it. Now I believe like there are some other ones, probably like the Rolling one, but nothing in that price range is really better. You know what I'm saying? It's just a little different. Like like I said, the Rolling one, just slightly different. I like the way the Jam Man functions for gigs. Trust, just my personal taste. So definitely check it out. But yeah, that's all I'm gonna do for today, guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe. Make sure you go to the Patreon, check it all out. Any of the presets or sounds you've heard me do, you just listening to as well. All that stuff is on the Patreon. You can sign up there, support the channel every month. Same thing with YouTube. If you already signed up on Patreon, subscribe. You do not have to subscribe to the YouTube. You will get the same stuff. I haven't even started rolling it out yet. I'm going to start just giving y'all some time because the YouTube channel membership is new. Give me y'all some time to sign up now. Y'all sign up so we can get this rolling. And because there's going to be stuff on there where I really be giving y'all some game on there. I'm gonna save all the real game for the paid memberships. And then I'll still do my ambient bass effects mornings and stuff like that. But for the most part, a lot of the game going with the members, because quite frankly, I appreciate them supporting me. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like the people that support me should get exclusive access to something. You know what I'm saying? So that means if they get exclusive access to it, you not signed up, you don't. And then you see all these people becoming world-class musicians out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You see all these superstars coming up, bass players. You like, where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? They coming from All Bass Creations right here. Yeah, it's world-class basses going to be produced from this. So I definitely looking forward to hanging out with you guys in the future and just, doing more things like this. So make sure you stay tuned. But, all right, if you haven't already, check out the Patreon. And if you want to check out my music, allbasscreations.bandcamp. And if you want to leave some Cash App, Super Chat, I really appreciate it. Thank you. Y'all have a good day. And this has been another episode of All Bass Creations Ambient.